The Sleep and Dreams Iceberg. Yes, you thought last week we got weird and wacky with it with the Windows Iceberg. We're getting even more weird and wacky with this shit. This is massive, so just get ready for a lot of humor, information, and big thanks to the original poster for letting me shamelessly use this so I can grow my channel. And also thanks for naming the tiers. Now I don't have to come up with some weird shit to say. So, let's dive right in. Level 1, normal sleep. Casual dreaming. You know, when you're dreaming. Sleepwalking. Sometimes you sleepwalk. Why? It could be that you're very stressed out, that your sleep is poor and constantly interrupted, or sometimes your body just kind of fucking forgets to paralyze you so you can't go anywhere. Either way, it's a mild pain in the ass, but it's not like a horror movie. Yet. NREM sleep. Rapid eye movement is a stage of your sleep cycle where you are dreaming. Non-rapid eye movement stage of sleeping is when you are not dreaming. Sleep-wake cycle. Now, in case you couldn't tell by this incredibly grainy high school textbook chart that I have up here, the sleep-wake cycle refers to the amount of time you spend sleeping versus the amount of time you spend awake. In humans, this tends to be roughly 8 hours of sleep for 16 hours of wakefulness. Inception. Now, Inception is an absolute brainfuck of a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio, back in that era before he had the Grammy, so everyone gave him shit for it, but it revolves around a corporate spy who steals secrets via dreams, and understandably, because we don't understand dreams, that shit trippy as fuck, bro. Melatonin supplements. Melatonin helps you sleep. My body doesn't produce enough of it, which is why I'm currently hallucinating right now. Holy shit, there's a dragon on my wall. Someone please come knock me. Now that we've gotten through level 1 above the iceberg, let's get into the meat and fucking chicken McTendies of this iceberg. Level 2. OP named this as above so below. I'm naming it I just got done with a double shift. I want to kill myself. Let's get this Sigma male grind set going. REM sleep. Rapid eye movement phase of sleep is the part of sleep when you're dreaming. It also tends to be the shortest part of the REM cycle, lasting 20 minutes out of a 2 to 3 hour cycle. Lucid dreams. Not the song by Juice WRLD, no, not at all. Lucid dreaming is when you control what's happening in your dream, momentarily regaining consciousness as you're asleep, long enough to dictate how the dream goes. It's very fun, and if you haven't ever been conscious of the fact that you're sleeping, it's really fucking weird. Imagine dissociating if you're mentally unstable, or like your entire body has been covered in a black fabric, and you just simply don't want to move. It's comforting while it's happening, but it's kind of fucking terrifying when you wake up, and I really hope death isn't like that. Nightmares. A nightmare is kind of just a dream you don't like. It's when your brain presents you a horrifying or disturbing situation that you find yourself rather uncomfy with while you're dreaming. Sleep deprivation. Go ahead and look at this chart that I found on healthline.com while I explain to you what the fuck is going on with this entry. Your brain and your body really need sleep. Why? We have zero fucking clue. Your body does take the time to recover, but theoretically it could just do this while you're awake too, just a little bit slower. So why do we need sleep? We don't know, but a lot of super bad stuff happens when you don't sleep. Your brain's like, hey, chief, what the fuck is this? And then it makes you do things that you don't like hallucinate. Have you ever hallucinated due to sleep deprivation? I have. There's 2 kinds of sleep deprivation hallucinations. Really nice, and really fucking terrifying. Jet lag. Jet lag, according to the dictionary, is extreme tiredness and other physical effects felt by a person after a long flight across several time zones, but it's basically human body no made go fast. So when human body go fast in plane from California to Australia, human body still thinking California. Much confused. Thank you for listening to Monkey Explanation of Jet Lag. Basically, we're not supposed to be going as fast as we do. But us hairless monkeys, you know us, we're fast as fuck, boy. Afterlife Dreams. Now, this one is a little bit weird because it's incredibly vague, so I'm just gonna spitball the few ideas I have about what it could be out there. Now, there is the idea that after you die, the afterlife is really just your brain's neurons firing for the last time as you enter your final rapid eye movement state. Now, maybe that's true, maybe that isn't. We won't know until you've been dead and stayed dead long enough to know what the fuck actually happened, something that no one has been unfortunate enough to experience yet. Or it could be a reference to dreaming of your death or of the afterlife, which, according to dream interpretists, which is the equivalent of shitting on a wall and saying, look, a masterpiece, could mean that you're afraid of a finality or a change in your life. Yeah, dream interpretation's a weird science. Narcolepsy, according to Mayo Clinic, and with a very, very useful diagram right here to tell me about it, is basically a condition in which someone is attacked by sleep. We don't really know what causes it, but basically brain is like, hey, what if we sleep a lot? And then you do. Sleep apnea. Thank you again, Mayonnaise Hospital. According to Mayo Clinic, which we all know is very popular, sleep apnea, another very commonly known thing, is a sleeping condition. Who would have ever thought? You stop breathing in your sleep, and this causes you to wake up, and because of this consistently interrupted sleep by the fact that you're not fucking breathing, you don't get enough time to get a full REM cycle in, leaving you exhausted. Sometimes I wonder if I have this because I'm currently sleep deprived and tired as fuck as I make this, and I slept 8 hours this morning. Falling in void dreams, another thing where it's kind of vague and makes it hard for me to sort out. According to LsdDreams.com, a website that hasn't been updated since 2006, and has the same water droplet picture that I saw on DoTelekinesis.com when I was 9 and thought I could be a wizard for a living. Falling in the dreams is more than one meaning, it depends on the context. Wow, holy shit. It's associated with the need for change. Okay, there we go. Supposedly, and I'm going to say supposedly because I can't prove this, falling in a dream is also your body's sensation of feeling its blood pressure dropping too fast and jerking you awake to make sure you don't fucking die. Irregular wake cycle. We discussed the regular wake cycle up on level 1. The irregular wake cycle is when you decide you're going to stay awake longer than 16 hours or maybe a little bit less. Static dreams. Now, yet again, and we're going to run into this a lot on this iceberg, I can just tell, it is very vague and hard to tell, just like fucking dreams in general, but static dreaming may be something staying the same, definition of static, or it could be dreaming about static. I don't really know at this point. Femalefirst.co.uk tells me that I have a magnetic personality if I have that. Definitely, for sure, that sounds like a load of bullshit. And the geniuses over on Quora just praying to fucking God that Yahoo Answers comes back so they can go back to being professionals at this shit, also have answers. So make of it what you will. Shift work disorder. Now, some people work shifts that have them staying up all night or staying up until the morning, yada yada yada. When some people are sleeping, like you, other people are working. Obviously, your body doesn't really like this. It's like, hey, let me sleep, man. And then you're like, nah, I need that bag. So you don't sleep, and this causes a problem because your body gets really fucking confused. Taking drugs in a dream, another dream interpretation one. Thankfully, though, this one has a universal interpretation. Normally, people who don't do drugs tend to take drugs in a dream, and then while they're dreaming, they're like, hey, what the fuck, why did I do that? Understandably, they don't really like that. They've got their panties in a scruffle, and then they wake up and they say, praise be, thank you, our Lord and Savior, Critical Moist. I didn't take this marijuanas. I can go back to church on Sunday. And that's what they do. Level 3. Not very common. Recurring dreams. A recurring dream is a dream that repeats itself often, but I've got the Wikipedia page pulled up here to just dunk on Sigmund Freud and talk about some of the weird-ass fucking beliefs this dude has. Teeth falling out. Sigmund Freud believed that if a woman had a recurring dream of her teeth falling out, she unconsciously longed to have children, and that if a man had this dream, he was afraid of castration. What the fuck? The entirety of psychology exists because Sigmund Freud said, I am the only psychologist. What are you going to do? Disprove me? And then they created the science to say, fuck you. God, cocaine. Parasomnias. Parasomnia is just the phrase used for sleep-related disorders. Abnormal movements, talk, emotions, and actions happen while you're sleeping. Thank you very much. Cleveland Clinic, not the mayonnaise hospital this time. But examples of it include sleep terrors, sleepwalking, nightmare disorder, and sleep-related eating disorder. What? Prophetic dreams. Now, at some point in your life, in everyone's life, you're going to have a dream where you predict the future, and you're going to remember a bit of it, and then you're going to get deja vu, and then you're going to be like, what the fuck? Now, I did a little bit of searching just to be sure that that's what the iceberg meant, and let me tell you how annoying it is when you click on a website and boom, Jesus. Your Christian website. Got questions? That sounds like a great website name for someone who has questions. It sounds like fucking Yahoo Answers forum, but it does its job. And instead, it's just Jesus shoved down my throat like a holy fucking dildo. You know, spend eternity with God. That doesn't sound culty at all. Thank you, Christianity. Sleep talking. Sleep talking is a type of parasomnia. Who would have ever guessed? And basically, it's when you talk in your sleep. Again, who would have ever guessed? Now, thank you, thesleepfoundation.org, for not shoving Jesus directly into my asshole. Sleep talking tends to be pretty harmless, and most of the time it's completely fucking gibberish. I do it myself, and sometimes I will, come half awake in consciousness and just hear myself and be like, what the fuck is happening? And then I go back to sleep. For the most part, it's entirely harmless until someone turns to you in their sleep and says, we are being watched. I've had that one happen to me. Not a good time. Wet dreams. You and I both know what this one is. Dreams about Minecraft. If you're having dreams about Minecraft, you're playing way too much fucking Minecraft, and you see this picture out here, this is a picture of the outside. You need to go outside. Stop looking at this picture of the outside and just walk out your door and touch some grass. I'm begging you. 2-for-1 deal here, baby. Somnophobia, fear of sleep. Why would you be afraid of sleeping? Well, it's kind of like dying, except instead of seeing what is on the other side and finding out for yourself, you just get that horrifying, yet comforting, blank void. Freddy Krueger dreams. Freddy Krueger fucking kills you if he's in your dreams. He will do that. He just pulls that shit. Here's my recommendation, though. Learn how to lucid dream, get insanely horny, and then start playing the Doom music. Trust me, by the time you're done, Freddy Krueger will not be going into anyone's dreams for a while. Rett syndrome is a rare neurological disorder that affects young girls directly after birth, and it affects their speech, their use of their hands, their ability to walk, and sleep disturbances. Mirror dreams. Now again, with the dream interpretation, it's kind of confusing, kind of wacky. We don't really know how to make sense of it because everyone has a different mind and different dreams. However, a mirror reflects yourself back at you, so understandably a mirror dream normally means that you are reflecting upon yourself subconsciously, if that's how you want to take dreams. Of course, if we go down here, you can see where I was at the start. Dentist's mirror, fucking Sigmund Freud is back here with his teeth. Someone get this man out of here. Get him away. This is filthy. Laughing gas, or nitrous oxide, is something that doctors will use to knock your ass out and make you sleep. It works by slowing down neuron connections, making you feel senses of euphoria, calmness, and having giggling fits, hence the name laughing gas. Out-of-body experiences. Out-of-body experiences are when some part of you is outside of your body and you're aware of it enough to detect that you're outside of your body. Now this happens when you're dying or sometimes when you're sleeping because that's just death light, so it goes on the Sleep and Dreams Iceberg. Level 4. Weird shit, bro. MIT technology. The MIT is responsible for a lot of the studies around sleep, so it makes sense that sleep-related technologies are pioneered there. Sleep paralysis. Thank you, WebMD, telling me that I have cancer when I have a headache, but actually getting sleep paralysis right. Sleep paralysis is when your body is stuck in a phase between wakefulness and asleep. You're conscious, but your brain hasn't let up of the chemical that paralyzes you and also the command to not let you move, so you're just kind of stuck laying there awake. Of course, in this phase, it's easy to hallucinate or maybe see into some sort of shadow realm, no one really knows, but people do commonly see demons, which lets me segue into my next bit, where I get to tell you about the time that I punched the shit out of my sleep paralysis demon. Yes, you heard me right. I had doom music as my alarm, woke up before my alarm, was paralyzed, heard doom music, and sucked the shit out of the demon standing over me. I haven't had sleep paralysis since. So if you have sleep paralysis, simply beat the shit out of your sleep paralysis. Alien abduction dreams. Now, a Russian study recently found that alien abduction claims may be based on lucid dreams, which doesn't make too much sense to me because you choose what happens in lucid dreams. But okay, personally, I like the take that alien abductions are simply just aliens, or rather the resurfacing of childhood memories from birth, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, so let me delve into it for just a quick second, sidetracking us from the iceberg. When you're born, you can't see very far, you are being held by people you don't know, and you're also under a bright light. So all of these doctors around you look like shapeless gray blobs, you're under bright lights, and you feel confused as fuck. Have any parallels to alien abductions? That or hey, maybe Ricky the Martian really just did shove an entire satellite into my ass. Nightmare Purgatory. I don't really know what this one is supposed to mean, but a nightmare is a dream that you really don't like, so reasonably, if you don't like the idea of purgatory, you could be trapped there. Or you could be trapped in a nightmare, stuck forever in a hell of your own creation. Talk about a shitty night's rest. Sleep terrors. We're back at the Mayonnaise Hospital to discuss sleep terrors. Sleep terrors, wow, I know how to speak, are intense bouts of fear, screaming, and flailing while asleep. 40% of children have these, but adults don't really get them very often. But what the fuck is making you so scared when you're asleep, bro? Deja vu in dreams. Now, dreams often cause deja vu because you dream that you're doing something and then do it days or weeks after said dream. However, deja vu itself is just simply the feeling of vague, confusing familiarity with an exact situation. So you can have deja vu in dreams if you're repeating something that you've done before, but wasn't quite important enough for your brain to remember in its entirety. The Sandman is European folklore and myth that sprinkles magic sand in your eyes to make you dream. And when you wake up with the fucking boogers in your eyes, it's because of the Sandman sprinkling his sand powder in your eyes so you can have dreams. Of course, there's also He threw sand in the eyes of children who wouldn't sleep, with the result of those eyes falling out and being collected by the Sandman, who then takes his eyes to his nest on the moon and uses them to feed them his children. We love European mythology. False awakening. We're on healthline.com for the background to this. False awakening is when you wake up in a dream. So you hear your alarm go off, you get up, you think, fuck me, you get dressed, you get ready to walk out the door. Then you hear your alarm go off and you think, hey, wait a minute. What the fuck? That's a false awakening. It's when a dream is nested inside of a dream. So you stop dreaming and wake up, still in the dream, but because your brain knows what to expect in the morning, you keep dreaming. And you just simply dream that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the mornings. Trippy shit, huh? I personally have had several false awakening dreams, but I think the most unnerving has got to be the one where I woke up, got ready for school, started walking to school, and then got hit by a fucking car, only to wake up in my bed and think, what? Lsd Dream Journal. Now, the Lsd Dream Journal is a really weird thing. LSD stands for lovely sweet dreams and not fucking acid, so that's weird. But it is a journal detailed by Hiroko Nishikawa, and it is about his dreams and nightmares. The journal was never released outside of Japan despite having English words in it, yada yada. It was used to inspire LSD Dream Emulator, but overall this is a really trippy and weirdly specific one. It's a little callback to the start of this level. Weird shit, bro. Coma Sleep. Now, coma sleep is not like regular sleep. In regular sleep, there's the resting and wakefulness cycles, and there's also brain activity. A coma is detailed because basically all brain activity except for brainstem and the basic stuff to keep you alive stops. You're basically a skip stepping away from complete brain death. There's not very many coma dreams or reports of any of that, and for the most part, people who are asleep in a coma tend to stay there. If they do wake up, they're not really going to have any sort of memories from it, unless someone was talking to them, but that's a weird gray area where a loved one speaking to you can pull you out of a coma. Level 5. Point of no return. There's no going back now. It's your last chance. Dreams of the pyramids and other ancient debris. Now, supposedly, dreams of the pyramids and other ancient stuff represents entering a higher, elevated state of consciousness, but again, the science of dreams is incredibly iffy and kind of just spitting at a wall and seeing what sticks. Melatonin dreams. Now, while doing a little bit of research for this one, thank you healthline.com again, I looked up melatonin dreams and found this. Melatonin does affect the memory processing according to a few studies that took place in the 80s, close to the 90s. However, these 30-year-old studies couldn't conclusively say whether or not melatonin actually increased, how vivid your dreams were, or if it just let loose more vasotocin that's in your brain, which leads to longer periods of memory-erasing sleep that makes you have intense dreams. There's another theory that when you take melatonin and have vivid dreams, simply it's just giving you more time to have these dreams, and thus you're having more vivid dreams naturally. Fun fact that I learned while researching this, though, melatonin can stop hallucinations when people are tripping balls in the middle of the night. Tea break dreams. Now, I actually took to a bunch of stoner communities to figure out what this was all about, but tea break is basically a tolerance break. Long-term marijuana can decrease the amount of rapid eye movement that happens during your REM cycles, meaning that while you're resting, you get less periods of dreaming, which means that eventually your dreams will slow down and not be like they used to. Taking a tolerance break, meaning that you get rid of some of the stuff in your system, so that way when you smoke the devil's lettuce, it's even more effective than before. Some people find that they have incredibly more vivid dreams because their brain is able to get that memory erasing type of sleep. Technology almost never works in dreams. Technology, as much as it has become a massive part of our lives, is still insanely complex to the average person, which means that your brain doesn't have a thorough understanding of it. I trained myself how to use swords so I can pick up a sword, know how to use it, and have a pretty fun sword fight in a dream. However, I can't pick up a phone. I can turn it on, but I can't really go into the settings or watch YouTube because my brain doesn't have as intimate as an understanding of that. So with this, technology almost never works in dreams. Your brain doesn't have an understanding of it. It doesn't need to have an understanding of it. It doesn't use its crucial time there. This is actually how I learned to lucid dream. A clock will never ever work in a dream because your brain loses its understanding of time while you're sleeping. So if you see a clock in your dream, try and keep track of what time it is. The time will make no sense, and that'll allow you to notice, hey, holy shit, I'm dreaming. And then you can do whatever you want. Exploding head disorder. Now this shit might sound scary, but your head is not about to fucking explode. It's rather just when you hear a very, very, very loud noise in that phase just between consciousness and sleeping. It'll sound like a gunshot or a hammer hitting a wall, but it'll be loud enough to wake you up and make you think, hey, what the fuck? And your brain's like, oh yeah, my bad, bro. Hypnopompic hallucinations. They're hallucinations that occur in the morning as you're waking up. You know, when you'd wake up and you'd still be really dazed and confused as you staggered out of your room, and you'd think you'd hear the news playing, but when you tried to listen, none of the words made any sense. And then you got into the living room and the TV was off and you looked around really confused. Yeah, that. Devil's Trill Sonata. Now, the Devil's Trill Sonata was something that came to Giuseppe Tartini in a dream. Supposedly, the devil lay beside his bed with him as he was sleeping and said that he would do anything for him in exchange for his soul eternal. Tartini agreed, and the devil played the violin for him, creating the most beautiful piece of music Tartini had ever heard. In this wacky-ass fever dream, he then woke up and desperately attempted to write the Devil's Sonata. However, he kind of failed, and he said that he would have just straight up destroyed his violin and left music forever. He was so ashamed of his poor replication. The Devil's Trill Sonata is relatively relevant in terms of him. It came up pretty fast. I didn't have to wade through a bunch of shit like a lot of these other entries. So, yeah. Did he actually sell his soul to Satan? Maybe. I don't know. Musicians do it now, right? That's what the 27 Club is. Definitely not the fact that 90% of creators massively struggle with mental health issues. Level 6. Getting scary. You'd better buckle your fuckles and get your adult diapers on, because this level gets weird, wacky, and sometimes kind of scary at points. Should I be making this video at 11:41 p.m.? Nope, but I will be, so let's go! Dream remote viewing. Now, whether or not you're a logical man of science or some Christian fucking wacko, you have to admit that sometimes humans are able to do things that science may not be able to explain. Remote viewing is one of them. Do I 100% believe in it? No, but even the CIA has looked into this, and there's been an extensive amount of research done on it in comparison to other supposed supernatural powers and phenomena that humans seem to possess, so maybe there's a little bit of weight behind it. Remote viewing is when you see something from very far away, something that you normally wouldn't be able to see. Often people will seal letters into envelopes and then have the remote viewers tell them what's in the envelopes. And weirdly enough, sometimes they can do that. So it stands to reason that in a lucid dream, you could also remote view. Perozatine. Perozatine is an antidepressant that also kind of acts like a sedative in making you feel sleepy, yawny, and occasionally constipation. DPH dreams. Don't let that acronym there confuse you. DPH is fucking cold medicine, but because we're a bunch of stupid, confused, hairless monkeys, some people decided that they were just gonna fucking butt chug that shit until they started tripping balls. So, when you drink enough cold medicine and then go to bed, you get weird, wacky dreams. Mostly because your body is trying to understand why the fuck there's so much cold medicine in there. MK Ultra sleep experiments. Now, Project MK Ultra is legitimately some of the most disgusting shit I've ever heard, and if I could torture the people who caused it and participated in it for the rest of their lives, you bet your sweet fucking Biffy I would. So, let's get into the sleep part of this. There were experiments on Canadians in which one Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, I hope God remembers your name and sends you to the fiery fucking pits of hell, scumbag, decided that he was going to use various paralytic drugs as well as electroconvulsive therapy at 30 to 40 times in normal power, which would then put them into a coma where he would play tape loops of noise over and over and over again. And these experiments were carried out on patients who entered the Institute for Common Problems, such as anxiety disorders and postpartum depression. And I think it's pretty disgusting, especially because some of the side effects included amnesia, thinking your interrogators were your parents, and a lot of other really disgusting stuff. So no jokes here. I genuinely hope this guy suffers a horrible death. Stilton cheese. Now, I didn't find anything relating to sleep in the Stilton cheese Wikipedia or any other stuff, but I still want to scroll through it just because it's on the Iceberg and it's a little bit of an upbeat compared to the dark, grim note we left the last note on. Let's just talk about some of the stuff that's down here. Cultural influence. English author G.K. Chesterton wrote several essays on cheese, dude. Imagine being remembered in Wikipedia as the dude who wrote essays on cheese. That's the funniest shit to me. Not to mention George Orwell, yeah, that guy, 1984 George Orwell, wrote an essay in defense of English cooking. And this cheese was in it. And that's fucking hilarious. I don't know why this cheese was on this iceberg, but the fact that there's a dude who wrote essays about cheese, like Jacob Geller-style essays about cheese, will never not be funny to me. Fever dreams. Now, REM sleep, the phase of sleep in which you are dreaming, your body's ability to regulate its own temperature is incredibly weakened. So, this regulation, kind of being let loose, paired with a fever, means that you're about to trip fucking balls, because your brain is immediately going to go into red flag mode, and all the sirens are going to be going off. Hey, yo, it's way too fucking hot in here, turn on the AC. But because of the fact that you're in REM sleep, nothing your body can really do but try to wake you up, so you'll just have some trippy ass dreams. Sleeping on nutmeg. Supposedly, sleeping after drinking nutmeg something, anything really, is really nice because nutmeg induces sleep. The issue is, the only place I can really find stuff that says that is, these mom and pop websites that aren't exactly about science. So hashtag mom says, warm milk with nutmeg is the elixir you need for a good night's sleep. My mom also said I wouldn't graduate high school, but here I am with my diploma, so I don't know if I should take this one with no salt. The Gray Man. Now this one is obscure enough that I couldn't even find a direct reference to it besides No Sleep, LSD Dream Emulator, and How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Tall Gray Man. That sounds like a fucking monster fucker porno. Anyway, the Gray Man is a character in the LSD Dream Emulator. Could be a result of hypnagogia, a state of sleep where the mind can sometimes make threatening entities. And then there's also No Sleep, where everything is real, even if it's not. Shameless plug here, I write on No Sleep, I post on Reddit. You should go join my subreddit, www.reddit.com/r/anotherpen. Shadow people. A shadow people, shadow persons, shadow figure, or horrifying eldritch shifting black mass coming to kill you at 3 a.m. is, described as a patch of shadow that is a living humanoid figure, and also, hallucination and or supernatural being. It only really comes to people when they're on that phase of, just about to fall asleep and still kind of awake, just the right time for hallucinations to happen, or an extreme sleep deprivation, which is why users of methamphetamine, your federal government's favorite drug, often experience seeing them. Now, little fun fact about my childhood, I knew several people who used meth, and if you've ever been in a car with someone who's seeing shadow people, that's not fun. Are shadow people themselves real? I don't really know. I mean, maybe. Who knows? The whole supernatural side of science is something that is recordly under-researched, and even if people think it's a whole load of bullshit, we should still do a little bit of digging there just to find out. But that's off topic, so let's get on to the next entry. Randy Gardner Sleep Deprivation Experiment. Randy Gardner became the man to go the longest time without sleeping in 1963. He stayed awake for just a little bit over 11 days, slept 14 hours, and then was fine. Surprisingly, he did not open any temporal portals into the next realm, summon any dead people, or witness any horrifying accidents that took place 3,000 years prior. He had a group of people with him to make sure he stayed awake, and he did it, and then he just went about his life. The 60s were a weird time. Peripheral hallucinations. Now, your brain is essentially that of a monkey given the ability to do math. Understandably, it still prioritizes survival, so you're only actively using about 10% of your vision at any time. The rest of it just goes to your subconsciousness, which means that your subconscious is watching the sides of your vision, your peripheral vision, which means that the slightest light move, change, or movement can suddenly make you think, whoa, something there, because that's what a monkey brain's job is to do. Unfortunately, at night it can make you see fucking shadow demons, because you're much more sensitive and much more prone to hallucinations in the dark. Fatal insomnia. Fatal insomnia is a prion disorder, which causes you to stop sleeping until the deterioration of your body forces you to fucking die. Now, fun fact, prion disorders are incredibly terrifying because prions aren't like living things. They're just proteins that folded themselves back, and that will make you fucking die. Level 7. Never sleeping again. It's too late to turn around now. Might as well finish the video, right? Nightmare death syndrome. This is an unexpected and mysterious nocturnal death of an apparently healthy individual that occurs among Southeast Asian refugees. Now, funnily enough, I already knew about this one before I started researching it because of this fantastic channel I listen to called Bedtime Stories. There'll be a little linky thingy up at the top of the video right now that you can go click, so go do that. Listen to the Dab song. It's a really fucking good video and a great channel. I think if you like my stuff, you'll like that too. This is the end of our ad segment. Bedtime Stories, if you ever hear this, please sponsor me. Incubus demon. The incubus and its female counterpart, the succubus, are demons that come to fuck the shit out of you while you're sleeping. And honestly, if as long as I get cuddled afterwards and I just feel loved, I'm okay with that because it's been a long time since I have felt the touch of a lover. Klein-Levin syndrome. Klein-Levin syndrome is a disorder that affects young men and is primarily categorized by sleeping for 20 hours at a time in episodes that happen a few days and a few weeks apart. The onset is often abrupt, and it also comes with hallucinations, extreme hungry, horny, and angry. So sounds like a really fun time to deal with. Thank you, Disorders All. I'm not even going to read the website URL. I'm so tired. It's 2:35 a.m. Pattern recognition, suppression while dreaming. Pattern recognition is your ability to recognize things and repeating patterns, as well as be able to see the finer details in things. This image right here is a perfect example. You can't name one thing in this image because you can't recognize a pattern in it, but it all does seem really familiar, huh? In a funny twist, I thought this was Psychonaut Wiki, as in a wiki for the video game Psychonauts, and was very confused to find that this was actually about using hallucinogenic substances. Nicotine patches dreams. Now, nicotine patches release nicotine throughout your body slowly over the course of 24 hours. This means it's also doing that while you're sleeping, meaning that your brain is gonna get weird, wacky, and jiggy with it, with the nicotine slapping that shit up while you're mid-sleep, which has led to some reports of vivid dreams. Astral travel in dreams. Astral projection is the supposed idea that your soul eternal can leave its body so long as you're aware and capable of doing so, which apparently everyone could be able to do. Now, astral travel is simply going through the astral plane, the higher plane of existence your soul temporarily enters on, and allows you to process for just a little bit while you do so. The issue is that in order to astral project, you basically have to sleep. So how do we know the difference between astral projection and lucid dreaming? Chief Bromden's hallucinations. Chief Bromden's hallucinations are dominated by a thick, debilitating fog that only begins to wane with the arrival of Randall McMurphy to the psych ward. The fog is symbolic of the waste that our mechanized society has created and how it pollutes our ability to read naturally. I took honors English classes all throughout high school, and I never read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so I have no fucking clue what any of this means, but if you're this far on the iceberg anyways, you probably get what's going on. Childhood memory dreams. Now, believe it or not, your brain is basically just a monkey that also has a computer in its skull. So your brain does categorize every memory you've ever made. It just simply tosses them in the recycle bin after a while. That bin doesn't get deleted until, the rest of you does when you die. But you can easily access your childhood memories by dreaming or getting into a dreamlike state. So it's not uncommon to dream of repressed traumas or just happy moments in your childhood. PTSD dreams. PTSD dreams and nightmares tend to just be reliving the moment that traumatized you severely enough to get PTSD. It is not fun, and personally I'd rather not dream about shit that I really don't want to relive every night, but I'm telling you from experience, shit sucks, bro. Jacob's Ladder true story. Jacob's Ladder is a biblical story where a man named Jacob has a dream of a ladder in which angels are climbing up and down. And then God appears right next to him and it's like, hey, yo, bro, I'll be with you. And your sperm is blessed. So you best get bustin' nuts. Really weird stuff, just like most of the Bible. But this iceberg entry postulates that maybe that wasn't a dream, or maybe the dream came true. I don't know. God, if you're out there, strike me down. We're just gonna go ahead and get a royal flush on this last little level here to finish up the video. Trapped in a dream. We've discussed false awakenings. How do we know that you're not in a dream right now? How do you know? You could wake up, and then wake up, and then wake up, and you'd never know. However, I'm sentient, so this isn't happening to you. Al Herpin. Al Herpin is a man who supposedly never ever slept. BZ drug. During the MK Ultra shit that I discussed earlier that unironically made my blood boil, they were also looking into even stronger psychedelic drugs. Why? Because the CIA is fucking cartoon villains, alright? Jeff Bezos and the CIA combined just make Lex Luthor. So the BZ drug is a psychedelic even stronger than LSD that could, if it was ever fleshed out and perfected, genuinely mind control people. Dream spying. A nice little callback to level 1 of this iceberg. Dream spying is the idea of going into someone else's mind and stealing their ideas while they're asleep. Inception much? That does it for the Sleep and Dreams Iceberg. This one was fucking huge. Massive, even. Almost as big as my cock. But I had a really fun time doing it. And if you made it this far, go ahead, like the video, maybe comment, and subscribe. It's free, you can always undo it, and it helps me pursue my dreams. Without further ado, it's obscenely late at night. I'm gonna get some goddamn sleep. Memento mori.